Hello, IET Corporation family, partners, customers, vendors, and welcome to our first ever IET Corporation YouTube video. This is very exciting for us, and today we have been honored to have two wonderful guests here. We have Mr. Towne and Mrs. Thompson.
I don't know if do I wave at the camera? Hi.
We are so excited to have them, and we're going to do a bit of an interview about their relationship with IET and what they do. What do you do at the Tech Center?
Well, we're both teachers, but we teach two sort of completely different but also kind of the same stuff. I teach electrical wiring, so the kids that want to go into construction, doing anything electrical, whether it's residential or commercial or industrial. And once we started working with IET, we started adding the low voltage side of construction too. So
very inspiring for, I know, a lot of young kids, and this will hopefully kind of motivate them to go into that direction. So what do you do, Ms. Thompson?
So I actually run the IT Networking Academy at the Tech Center. So anything to do basically with technology, they get to learn the basics of computers, networking, cybersecurity, and of course that's where our programs kind of combine some of the low voltage cabling and things like that. So it's a good overall broad of what any technology field that they might want to get into, they can kind of get a feel for.
I'm sure all of the kids that you teach are so happy to have you, you both as teachers. What is the purpose of these programs at the Tech Center?
Well, really, I don't want to sound like I'm doing such an amazing thing. I sort of feel like we're training the future workforce of Maryland. Like, it's like a really cool feeling that these kids are going to go out there. I mean, we got kids out there now, former students, that are literally building, St. Mary's County. I mean, like, they're building our community. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want it to sound like, oh, it's such this noble thing. It's just like, one day I was thinking about it. I mean, these kids they're coming in our class, and maybe they're being goofy knuckleheads or whatever, but they're going out there and they're busting their humps and like building the buildings that we'll go into and use. Do you know what I'm saying? So.
And that's amazing, especially seeing, I mean, I'm sure as teachers too, seeing your students grow and progress, that's so inspiring, and that's why you do what you do. Really.
It fuels us. I mean, that's what kind of, makes us work harder and get up in the morning, really, honestly, is to see all that. I mean, that's the big thing we say with the programs. I mean, most of the teachers there at the Tech Center, we are both the same, come from the industry. So we're not teachers, I mean, that's, even though we have the title teacher instructor, this is what our field was, and we have a passion for it and we love it. So we're just kind of passing the baton a little bit, making sure that they have the tools that we probably didn't get when we were their age.
For sure.
And just kind of giving them a leg up, and just, we see the industry need too. So, we see what they need and what they will help them grow in those fields. So, we just kind of have that advantage a little bit.
I mean, even though you might not see it, y'all play such a significant role in these students' lives.
It's really, I guess, rewarding, if you want to get like real deep into it. She's totally right though. That is what fuels us and gets us up in the morning, watching these kids do this really cool stuff that we get to teach them. It's like almost like a privilege. Okay,
so now I'm going to start getting into questions about IET Corporation. So what is y'all's relationship with IET Corporation?
I don't remember if our first actual meeting was me going to the old building y'all used to have, or them coming to the Tech Center, but I know Dave Ringley was involved in that meeting, and I instantly recognized him because he was a field grunt back when we were doing Town Middle School, and I think I was like a third-year apprentice or a fourth-year apprentice at that time. But I started recognizing a couple of the people that he had brought too from Town Middle School, and then we got St. Charles High School. That was the big project when I became a sub foreman, and I was working really closely with all the different contractors, and we had subbed out IET, I think, to be our low voltage guys out there, and hearing from a couple years until they reached out, and I was like, holy crap, man, what's up? And then we started talking about the days in the past and guys we used to work with. Kind of developed and blossomed, and it wasn't too far along that I was like talking to Mary about it, and she was like, well, we do that stuff too. And then we decided then, I was like, we need to do a thing here. Francisco, because he's got like, I hope I don't sound like an ass kisser here. I mean, I don't know if I can say that, but he's like a visionary. Like, he had these really cool ideas that I don't know we would have come up with on our own.
You know, of course, on our side, we're like, this is a great idea, but we don't have any money here. We can't do this. And he's like, nope, you know, we're going to make this happen, and we're going to have this happen.
Like ideas almost to a fault. We're like, hold on, man, we got to get the material and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, no problem, I got you. And next thing you know, we got like truckloads of material coming in and donated. So it was
awesome.
It was pretty cool.
How long ago was that?
I want to say that was at least 6, maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah, 6 or 7 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we know how your relationship started, but how has it grown, and what has it grown into today?
COVID didn't really help. Do you know what I mean? It kind of, we had we were just talking about it not too long ago. It was March of 2020. There was like this really cool like momentum that we had going in between both of our classes and making this thing called the mock-up get up and running, and we had all these great ideas, and then, you know, in a span of a couple minutes, everything just had to stop. I mean, it just had to stop.
Right.
And we had a whole group of kids that were involved that graduated, if you want to call that a graduation, and then the next group of kids who would have been like my first year kids when they came back to school last year, they just didn't get the experience and the hands-on stuff that IET would come in and provide for these kids, or we would go to their building and they would teach them all this really cool stuff. It just was like this big wheel trying to get chugging again. It was taking its own time. I still don't know that we're at that really cool momentum that we had before. But I feel like we're starting to kind of make it pick up a little bit, because we have a lot of kids interested in low voltage. We're coming here next week for a field trip for these kids.
Yeah. We've just been astounded by how much, you know, there's so much support and help and just everything from IET from the very beginning. And it's just been so supportive. And like Mike said, I mean, when we hit COVID, it was just, it was so disappointing, because we really were getting to a point that these kids were really getting excited about it. And now we're kind of working with groups of kids that have never really started that excitement. They don't know anything about IET. They don't know anything about the cool ideas that we started with to build from. So, you know, we're starting to be able to get the students out of the classroom and work with others. And so again, when we said, you know, when we called and said, hey, we're back on, I think we're starting to be able to branch out. I mean, IET jumped and said, great, let's start again and, you know, get it going. So, you know, our relationship grows because of the direct support from IET. They're constantly offering materials, and they're always thinking of us when those kind of things are coming along. If they have new ideas, they're coming up with those ideas.
I can say unequivocally that there is not a stronger relationship at the Tech Center than what we have with IET.
And I want to jump back to what you said about COVID and how it kind of slowed the process and put a whole stop to the groove you guys had going on with the kids. And I think that, I mean, like you said, it's still happening, and it's kind of starting to get into the groove of it. But I feel like that's happening everywhere as well.
Which is funny, because I don't know about other trades or businesses or anything like that, but a lot of folks I talk to in construction all through COVID, they're like, dude, we are slammed. We are so busy. What I hear is, Mike, we have so many jobs available for your kids when they graduate. Train them good. You know what I mean? It never stopped our relationship. What it really stopped was like IET being able to come into the school to train the kids, or us being able to bring the kids out here.
The student interaction part of it.
Right. And that, which is